Good afternoon and welcome to the Channel 3 Facebook page. We're hearing more and more about the mental health crisis affecting our nation. From COVID to now the war in Ukraine, it's a lot for everybody, particularly for our young people to handle. Oftentimes, this can lead to substance abuse issues. A new program at CHR is helping young people in a unique way. Joining me now is Bonnie Musamechi. She's the clinical supervisor of CHR's new program. It's the Substance Screening, Treatment, and Recovery Services for Young Adults. Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Good afternoon, rather. Thank you for having me today. So yes, I'm here really to talk about the STRY program, which is an evidence-based model, as you mentioned. It stands for Substance Screening, Treatment, and Recovery for Youth, and it is funded by DCF, Department of Children and Families, and it really builds upon CHR's long-standing work as a leading substance use treatment provider in the state. And so we really have experience working with a lot of years of experience working with this population.
Now this program
It's an outpatient.
It's very
Yes,
unique.
go ahead.
What's so unique about it?
What's unique about this program is that so we work with ages 12 to 24 years old. So now we've included transitional age youth, right, where the research has shown where they tend to really struggle when they're mixed in with adult treatment because their brain isn't fully developed yet until age 25. And so the research showed that. And so we felt that it was really important for us to incorporate that age group. It's also really unique because it's split up into two phases. And so the first phase is called the CRA phase, which is community reinforcement approach. And that's an outpatient level where they come and they visit with a clinician in a clinic for about 45 minutes to an hour on a weekly basis. And then the second phase is more, they would work with what's called a recovery support specialist, and they're out in the community, right? So it's a very flexible piece of treatment because they can meet with the clients in their homes and schools. We can help them with job seeking skills. And that's another really unique part of our program is that we're really focused on building upon their strengths, each client's individual strengths, right? We're teaching them life skills and we're really helping them to identify positive pro-social activities. So that's kind of what separates our approach.
And family involvement is huge with this, correct?
Absolutely, yes. There is very much a caregiver component. And we understand that caregiver looks different for each individual family. So the client can really identify what adult, a non-using adult that can really provide them support throughout their treatment and recovery.
Now the program is roughly 8 months. So what can people expect over the course of that 8-month program?
So yes, so it's split. So it's 8 months. And so again, with the two phases, the first 4 months, they're receiving treatment, we're really teaching the life skills that I've been talking about, which, for example, we teach communication skills, problem-seeking skills, anger management skills. We also have a really cool tool called the functional analysis that we can use to identify the substance use. We can use that to identify pro-social activity or during relapse, right? Because we recognize that relapse can certainly be part of the process. And so with this, we identify their external, internal triggers for their use. And then we talk about short-term positive consequences because it's really important to understand how the substance use is serving them, right? How are they benefiting from it? But then we take it a step further and we talk about long-term negative consequences. And this is really where they start to kind of have those epiphanies, those aha moments, sort of connecting the dots as to how the substance use really has been negatively impacting their lives. And so a lot of these teaching of these skills takes place within the 4 months of treatment, again, in the outpatient clinic setting. And then the second phase, they would work with a recovery support specialist. That's the second 4 months of treatment. And that's more case management. They're really going out into the community, meeting them in their homes, and just really making sure that they're applying all of the skills that they've kind of learned, right? If they're looking for a job, then we can certainly assist them with job seeking because they've learned that skill. So now they have the ability to go out, maybe, complete job applications, whether in person or online. Um, and so it's really neat because you get both. You get, you get the treatment within the clinic, and then we're out in the community, sort of, making sure that whatever wherever these areas are that they're really struggling, we're touching upon them. Right now, we're in the community with them.
And I love that it's not, just treat for the actual issue, the substance abuse, the drugs, the alcohol. You're really following them along and helping them to succeed in life after they quit using.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have the opportunity to now watch them, right? Implement all of these skills, right? How are they working with their families, right? Because a lot of it is, if there's another tool that we use is a happiness scale. And so if they're identifying areas in their lives, now it covers 16 areas of their lives, right? And they're rating them from one to scale of 1 to 10. And so 10 is they're completely, happy, and 1 is they're completely unhappy. And so we're able to really help them identify the areas that they want to work on. So if, for example, they identify communication or they're struggling with their family, then these are skills that we can teach them, right? And then we also take it a step further when we work with the caregivers, and we teach them communication skills and problem solving skills. So everyone is on the same page, and we can help to continue to support their recovery.
Now, if you're just joining us on this Facebook Live, we're talking to Bonnie Musumeci from CHR, and we're talking about a substance abuse treatment program. It's unique to CHR. It treats young people specifically. And tell us the ages again, Bonnie.
12 to 24.
So now, with everything that's going on in the world, our young people really have been through the ringer. It just seems like one thing after another, and it's hard for them to manage. Have you seen an uptick in young people reaching out to CHR for their services?
They really, honestly, it's, that we find a lot of resistance when it comes to kids really recognizing that substances are negatively impacting their lives, because remember, it is definitely, it's serving, they're benefiting from it. So we, with motivational interviewing, what we do, it's a collaborative, right? It's person-centered form of guiding to elicit and strengthen, right? Motivation for change, right? And so by helping them really explore and resolve their ambivalence, that's where the work really begins to happen. And so a lot of the referrals do come in from families, DCF refers, probation. We get referrals from the JRB. I mean, anybody can really submit a referral, schools. And so when approaching the resistance, the motivational interviewing, that's really when it comes into play, right? Because it's really, really important to understand the client's readiness for change, right? Where are they, right? Let's explore the barriers, right, to this change. So that then they really have the ability to kind of like resolve the ambiguity, right? And in order for them to really to implement healthy change, right, that will continue to support their recovery.
Why do you think this age group needs a specific approach to substance abuse treatment?
I think that this is a real critical time in their lives, right? And as we know, a lot of these, these adolescents and these young adults, they're really, they have, their judgment isn't necessarily always they have poor judgment, right? And they really need help developing critical thinking skills, right? And so these skills that they're not really learning anywhere are really going to help to empower them, right, to make better choices, right? And by just asking them, right, just processing, listening, and then validating whatever it is, their concerns, but then taking it a step further to kind of help them be able to separate what are going to be the positive outcomes versus the negative consequences that you've been seeing, right? So it's really getting them to think, right? Again, it's they're driving the treatment, and that's really, really important because that's where you get when you get the buy-in, right? If they're identifying the goals that they want to work on, and they might not necessarily begin by stating, and I mean, this is real, right? Real life. They might not necessarily begin by saying, I need to reduce my substance use because, again, it's a harm reduction model. And that's okay. We're going to meet them where they are at because that is very important to get them to buy in. You have to build rapport with them, trust. And then you start, exploring, right? I wonder what it would look like if you weren't using substances and get them to start really thinking about what life would look like.
Now, if you're a parent out there watching this interview right now and you're not sure, you think maybe your child is acting a little differently, what are some of the signs that a parent can look out for?
I would say any real significant changes in behavior, right? Whether it's school performance or their appearance, dramatic changes in energy levels, right? Whether they're sleeping more, sleeping less, um, problems with memory or their concentration or attention. They're really they're no longer really spending time with their closest friends or families. They might be there might be having outbursts of violence or rage, right? Becoming really angry. Those might be some real signs to look for with your child or your young adult.
Now, do you recommend a parent approach their child about what they're seeing, or should they call a professional first and get advice?
I believe that it's really important to always kind of speak with your children, right? And so just kind of developing that from early on, whether it's while you're sitting at the dinner table and making that a time to kind of like process your day. How was your day? What's going on? Just having really ongoing conversations with your children is really, really important because when you do start to recognize these changes, you can you can ask them, is everything okay? Because you've noticed that you're noticing these changes and that perhaps they're starting to struggle. Is this something that they would like to talk about? And if they feel that they don't feel comfortable speaking with their parents, then yes, absolutely, that would be a really great time to seek services by calling. You can contact CHR's Triage Center, and that number is 877-884-3571.
We have that number up on the screen right now. CHR, they're there. They're there to answer questions. If you think that your child might have a problem, they have this great, unique new program, the SSTRY program. We've been speaking with Bonnie Musumeci. She's the supervisor of it. Go to chrhealth.org or call the number 877-884-3571. Bonnie, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Very important topic that I think people need to talk more about.
Yes, absolutely. And we're here. We're here. If parents are, if they're afraid or if they're not really sure, I mean, we're definitely here to support the entire family in regards to seeking treatment because we know that, the struggle is real. We understand that it might not necessarily always be an easy conversation to have with your child, but it is very much important to act right away.
And one that affects the whole family. Again,
Absolutely.
We're going to put the number up one more time. It's 877-884-3571, or you can visit chrhealth.org. Thanks so much, Bonnie.
Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.